Imagine the year is 1200 BCE. Egypt, one of the greatest civilizations of the ancient world, is under siege by a mysterious group of raiders, known only as the Sea People. These enigmatic warriors swept across the Mediterranean, attacking coastal cities, toppling empires, and leaving historians baffled for centuries. But who were they? And where did they come from? What if these mysterious invaders were more than just wandering raiders? What if their origins were ancient, powerful, and perhaps even tied to one of history's greatest legends, Atlantis? Today, we're diving into a fascinating theory that connects the Sea People to the fabled lost civilization of Atlantis. Could the Sea People have been survivors of a great catastrophe, forced to roam the seas in search of a new home? Or is this just another ancient myth with no real evidence? Let's dive in. First, let's talk about the Sea People. The Egyptians described them as fierce raiders, arriving in ships and attacking Egypt and other coastal regions around the Mediterranean. They're mentioned in Egyptian texts, especially during the reign of Ramses III, who famously defeated them in the Battle of the Delta around 1175 BCE. These attacks left destruction across the region. Ancient cities fell, and powerful empires like the Hittites and Mycenaeans crumbled during what we now call the Late Bronze Age collapse. Yet, despite this destruction, the true identity of the Sea People remains a mystery. Historians have debated their origins for centuries. Were they displaced tribes, fleeing famine or war? Pirates? Mercenaries? Or could they have been the remnants of a long-lost civilization? Now, let's shift gears to Atlantis. Plato, writing around 360 BCE, describes Atlantis as a great naval power existing 9,000 years before his time. According to Plato, Atlantis was a wealthy, technologically advanced civilization, ruling much of the Mediterranean, until it was destroyed by a cataclysmic disaster and sank beneath the sea. Most historians view Plato's account as allegory, a myth meant to explore philosophical ideas. But what if there's some truth to it? What if Atlantis, or a civilization like it, really existed, and its survivors became the Sea People? One popular theory links the Atlantis story to the eruption of Thera, modern-day Santorini, around 1600 BCE. This volcanic eruption was massive, devastating the nearby Minoan civilization, which was known for its advanced culture and powerful navy. Could survivors of this disaster have taken to the seas, eventually becoming the Sea People we hear about centuries later? Let's break this down. Plato's Atlantis was described as a powerful naval society. The Sea People were skilled sailors. Both stories involve a catastrophic disaster. Atlantis sank due to earthquakes and floods, while the eruption of Thera would have caused similar devastation, including tsunamis. The Minoans, who were hit hardest by Thera's eruption, were a highly advanced seafaring civilization. Some scholars speculate that the Sea People might have been connected to the Minoans, or their descendants, displaced after the disaster. But here's where the theory runs into problems. The timeline. The eruption of Thera happened hundreds of years before the Sea People attacked Egypt. So, if they're connected, it would mean the survivors passed down their knowledge and skills for generations, until they emerged again as the Sea People. That's a big stretch, and it's one of the reasons most historians are skeptical of this theory. So, what solid evidence do we have? Unfortunately, not much. There's no concrete archaeological find linking the Sea People to Atlantis. There are no ancient texts connecting the two. And as we've mentioned, the timelines don't quite match up. The theory is fascinating, but it's largely speculative. The idea of the Sea People being survivors of a lost civilization like Atlantis is built more on imagination and mystery than on hard facts. Most historians believe the Sea People were likely a mix of displaced groups, driven by war, famine, or political collapse, rather than the remnants of an advanced lost civilization. But despite the lack of evidence, the mystery remains. The Mediterranean is full of ancient secrets, cities lost beneath the waves, civilizations erased from history. And both Atlantis and the Sea People remain two of history's greatest enigmas. Could the Sea People have been the last remnants of a forgotten world, like Atlantis? Maybe, Or maybe we'll never know for sure. What do you think? Could there be a connection between these ancient mysteries? Or is it just another myth, tangled in the webs of history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into history's greatest mysteries. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present.